Hello everybody, welcome to 2024 for a new set of Italian language lessons. In today's lesson, what you're gonna learn? Well, I'm gonna teach you a very important thing. I will teach you a core trick that every Italian speaker does to make everyday casual conversations easy and grammar nazi bulletproof. First and foremost, why is that trick so necessary? Well, the answer is Italian verbs conjugation is quite tough. There are many exceptions, many different patterns, and mastering all the verbs conjugational patterns required a lot of practice and memory. That's why, on daily basics, even native Italian speakers tend to avoid using complex tenses, complex moods, and stick to the simplest ones. That makes everyday conversation very, very easy, but also allows you to avoid to make grammatical mistakes. I betcha you did the same in English many times. Dropping maybe a fancy present perfect for a more simple present to make conversation easier. Of course, in Italian language, you can do pretty much the same. No Italian will be upset for that. And the ace up your sleeve is the combination presente semplice and modo indicativo. Indicative mood, modo indicativo, gives to the action we are describing via verbs conjugation the attachment to certainty and reality. That is a real powerhouse to make your own sentences. Because when we use the modo indicativo, we are stating a fact. And that is the most simple way to deliver concepts in our speeches. No conditions to be met, no if, no then, just facts. Presente semplice because among all tenses, it is the simplest one. In Italian language, every word in sentences is highly contextualized. Every article, noun, adjective, it is declined according to the gender and the number they refer to. That's why it is almost impossible to miss the meaning of a speech. Therefore, it becomes easy to derive the meaning of a sentence even if a verb does not exactly describe the right mood or the right tense. Because if in Italian language you use present simple, presente semplice, however, it is clear that we are referring to facts happened in the past, our interlocutor will automatically get that we are referring to past events, even though we want to keep things simple and use simple present. Conclusions. Often, many Italians every day will use presente semplice to describe actions happened in the past or programmed to be done in the future. Okay, now, after the theory, let's drop some practicality. How we do conjugate properly simple present with indicative mood. Well, first, you need to take the infinitive mode of a verb, aka the dictionary form, because you can find that in every Italian dictionary, and spot the thematic vowel. I leave in the description a video in which I speak about thematic vowels and how they are important to understand and to master Italian verbs conjugational patterns. After this video, I suggest you to take a look. So, once we are capable to identify the thematic vowel, we therefore can establish at which conjugational pattern this specific verb belongs. Are, ere, ire. Verbs ending in are, so belonging to the first conjugational pattern, will follow, the majority of them, the following pattern. For the first singular person, you change are for o. For the second singular, are for i. For the third singular, are for a. For the first plural, are for iamo. For the second plural, are for ate. For the third plural, are for ano. Let's make an example. take a verb belonging to the first conjugational pattern. What is it? I already dropped in my shorts. The verb is cantare, to sing. A is the thematic vowel, therefore the infinitive form ends by are, cantare. So, present simple, indicative mood, you just simply swap are for canto. Io canto, I sing. Tu canti, you sing. Lui, lei canta, he, she, it sings. Noi cantiamo, we sing. Voi cantate, you sing. Loro cantano, they sing. Pretty straightforward. The same thing happens for verb belonging to the second conjugation. So the thematic vowel, in this case it is e. Therefore, all verbs belonging to the second conjugational patterns will end by ere, like vedere, to see. In this case scenario, the conjugational pattern changes a little bit. The pattern will be o, I, e, iamo, ete, ono. So in this case, in the third singular person and in the second plural person, the thematic vowel changes. It is out clear that the e now is predominant. And the third difference between the second conjugational pattern and the first one is in the third plural person when the ending is ono instead of ano. In practical, vedere will be conjugated like the following. Io vedo, tu vedi, and so far, first and second conjugation are similar, pretty identical. Lui, lei vede, noi vediamo, voi vedete. In the second plural person, it is out and loud that the thematic vowel is the e. Loro vedono. Ano becomes ono. Of course, we must take in consideration the third conjugational pattern for verbs ending in ire, like partire, to leave. The best part is that this third conjugational pattern is very similar to the second one. The only difference is in the second plural person, where the thematic vowel e takes place of the e. For the remaining part, for the remaining persons, the pattern is the same. Io parto, tu parti, lui, lei parte. Noi partiamo, voi partite, not partete and not partate. The I is the thematic vowel, so partite, loro partono. Now, in this last part of the video, I want to make practical examples. For instance, we can take one of the three verbs that I listed before and try to make simple sentences. For instance, I want to take the verb vedere, to see. And I can make simple sentences using simple present. Now I see Eddie. The Italian translation is ora io vedo Eddie. I use the simple present because the action that I'm about to see my friend Eddie is happening right in the present. So it is grammatical wise correct to use the simple present. Also because in the beginning of the sentence we place a really strong adverb, now, that collocates the action in the present without any doubts. That is pretty straightforward. But now let's raise the stick of difficulty. I want to collocate the action in the near future. That means I'm gonna use the simple future tense. Tomorrow, I will see Eddie. In Italian, the translation is domani io vedrò Eddie. I conjugate the verb vedere to its simple future tense, io vedrò.
because it is grammatically wise correct. So far, so good. However, I can say, tomorrow I see Eddie. Domani io vedo Eddie. I use, guess what, simple present, and the sentence is still perfectly understandable. So often in Italian, it will be very common to hear Italian speakers addressing to action programmed for the future and using simple presents. Reason why, I guess, well, first, Italian language, it is a very contextualized language, as I said before. So placing a strong adverb, tomorrow, will make 100% clear that we are talking about actions programmed for the future. But also probably because simple future and simple present are quite similar. Io vedo, simple present. Io vedrò, simple future. Kudos for simple present. Next level, we just turn the sentence into a past one. Yesterday I saw Eddie. Ieri io vidi Eddie. In this case, of course, again, we placed at the beginning of the sentence a strong adverb. Yesterday, ieri. That collocates the action in the past. We enforce that using simple past. I saw. Io vidi. But what happens if we use the simple present instead? Yesterday I see Eddie. In Italian, ieri io vedo Eddie. Bah, it is very odd and sounds really not natural. And every Italian language speaker will have doubts that you are actually speaking Italian because it is not correct. And especially because simple present and passato remoto, remote past, are quite different. So when you conjugate to the past, it is actually mandatory that you know the past tense conjugation. Don't worry, I know what you're thinking. I will drop soon enough a video about conjugation, the three main conjugational patterns for remote past, passato remoto.
Ladies and gentlemen, class is dismissed. I hope you enjoyed this very lesson and stay tuned during 2024 for new interesting lessons. Bye bye. And remember, speak like a genius.